We're in a little corrective rally at the moment with some of the big tech stocks like Nvidia, Meta, Tesla, Apple are pushing higher, lifting the market higher. We're going to be looking at the bearish count and the bullish count, but we'll give the bias to the bearish count because we are under the closest largest number, and also to the banking sector is really doing the damage, but obviously the some other sectors like the healthcare sector is also under a lot of pressure as well. So with BAC here, just on this chart from the top up here, looking at this move here as an A wave here, and this July here, basically this low here for wave A here, if we transpose this particular pattern over here onto the S&P, this July would be, well, close enough anyway, June here, June, July low. And then this wave 2 over here in February, which was this wave, if we look at this as an ABC for the B wave, and then 1 and 2, and moving down, this here in February is not the same, but it's pretty close to this one here in late Jan, so a week off, whichever way you want to cook that. I can say that with confidence that this move down here as wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not completed. It's not going to finish in 3 waves here, and there's more to go, but also too that we can very easily open this up to a bigger picture here, and we will in due course, but we're just doing it step by step. We've got a short trade in here, we're keeping the stop out of the way, we're going to go into a series of wave 3s, 4s and 5s in here, but it's just definitely not finished to the downside, so the bias is there. Now obviously there's tech stocks like Nvidia that will make a new high. Yeah, so the tech stocks are just really leading to the upside, but I won't go into there. We'll just stay with the S&P here and spend a bit of time on this and look at the NASI and the DJ and Russell. So yeah, we can pretty much overlay this with the banks, this particular pattern. It's not coming down as much, you know, the banks have taken these lows out here in new lows, so we're far from that. So it's, you know, it's reluctantly edging down. We've got tech stocks that are still moving to the upside to finish their wave 1s, but once they finish their tops, then they will, you know, roll over. So there's all these tech stocks in different stages, you know, but they do need to pull back, but they're in a rally at the moment. So we can look at this move down here in 2 bearish ways. We can look at it as wave 1 here and wave 2 here, and then a smaller wave 1 and 2 in here. We can do that. We can do this one here as 1 and 2. We can look at it in different ways. In both cases, we should see a bit of a rally. How far they come back is we'll just track the actual internal wave structure for that. This move here as a move down here is really just the length of this here, and markets tend to move from one big number to the next big number, so from 4,000 to 3,000, but we'll do our little count on the way down. So let's stop the waffling and cruise in and check on this and see at different stages. So just on the daily chart here as B wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here. As I mentioned, we'll look at this on the intraday. It's also possible to put this here as 1 and 2 and then 1 and 2 here, but in both cases we still need a rally coming back up off these lows here, and yeah, so that will be that. So we'll go to the bearish count, which will be on the 50k and the 1k here. There's also a bullish count, we'll check on that as well. So this is our 1 ABC for 2 here in this case, and in this instance here we'll see a move back to here, that's the 61.8%, and then a move down. If we look at it a little bit differently, if we put this over to here for example, and then use a smaller wave 1 here and going back for a smaller wave 2 here, well then it's going to come a little bit lower at this point. It will just go to, it'll just move up lower and then move down roughly. That's a 61.8% from that wave 2 there, so we'll just copy that and put that there and copy this and put this here. So look, just hedging bets really. So we'll either come back to here or we'll come a little bit higher. It's that simple really. So now we need to go in here and sort of understand this a little bit further. Now if we were going to turn bullish, then, well, I need this number here as a as a tested support. I would also need to see from the low here, I need to see a very clean, nice 5-wave move, impulse wave here, and then we would buy the pullback at that point and then move up. I'm not seeing this here as a impulse wave. I can wingle it around as a 1 and 2 here, but it counts better as a corrective pattern with in that regard. Also as well, if I can just go left field here a little bit and just bring up another chart here. Let me just, might as well just use Tesla, I think. So this will give a bit of an example of what's going on here. So with Tesla here, it is possible with Tesla to have this wave too low in here and have an A and a B and a C, and we just continue to go up from that point. If that's the case, I would need 5 waves up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then would buy the pullback. But otherwise, we'll put this over to here. We do have a bullish count for this, and that was it. But otherwise, we'll look at this as the A, the B, and the C. So, and we'll just track 5 waves up there, and that should be the top at that point. So that's kind of what we're looking at with the S&P in a way, just keeping things simple. So we can see that we've got 5 waves here, right? So that means we're going to get another 5 over here at minimum, right? And there's other tech stocks that are doing all that as well. So it is the tech stocks that are pushing to the upside. So we could look at this here as an A and a B and a C, and so we need to push up here further. So we're going to go from here into a bit of a mess really into the 1000 tick chart here, but just bear with me. I'm a bit messy, don't need that. So as I mentioned, we can look at this is the low here. We'll just get a bit more data in here. So we can look at it as 1 and 2 here. We can also view it as 1 and 2 here. That 2 would be up here a little bit further. We'll put that wave C up there, or we can have this smaller wave 2 here for this wave 1. Either way, as I just mentioned with Tesla, is that we are looking at this here as an A wave to the upside. It's a bit you know, you can kind of see there's 5 waves there. It's a little bit tricky when you go into, we'll just have a bit of a squizzy at that here. So this is the bullish count here, but as a bearish count, we would look at this as the A wave here, the B wave here, and the C wave coming up here. Wrong tool, Pete. So yeah, so the A, the B, and the C wave moving up there. I thought I must have had that, must have been on 100 ticks, so I'll just go there for a moment. Yeah, so this would be it here. So looking at this is the A, the B, and the C wave coming up here. So that's kind of, you know, that's a mess. And then Nvidia and Meta, they've got their own things going on, but they're in the same boat. So it is the tech stocks that are going to lift us a little bit higher. So even though this here looks really sort of sad and doesn't really look like an impulse wave, so we'll just label it the same as an A, B, C for the A wave, and A, B, C for the B wave. So that B wave here would put things like Tesla's B wave here, which is a bit more sort of sexier, this particular pattern, if that's anything to go by. So yeah, we can either go to here and drop, right, or we can go a little bit higher up here and drop from that point there. So we'll just keep a bit of an eye on it. Short-term traders can trade long. Obviously, if you're going to trade long right now, then you would want a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 3900 there as a tested support. So you'd want something like that, or in very simple terms, something like that, and just buy new highs at that point. Buy high, high, high here for that for short-term traders. But otherwise, I'm not going to call a trade in for that. We're just going to wait, and we'll just wait for that to come into play. So yeah, it looks pretty corrective here. I mean, of course, I can go wave 1 for the bullish count. I can go wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C wave in here, and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, because we had a low on the Russell or the Dow with this particular low here coming down here, and that is 5 waves at that point. So that's possible to do that. So we'll see. I mean, if everything goes to poop, then you can look to short under here. So if I was wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time, that, you know, it's not really a matter of being wrong or right, it's a matter of making money. So even if we were wrong here and the market came and took this low out, would be wrong, but you'd be making money. So you need to be on the short side at that point. Now you can lift this up here, of course, a little bit further. What have we got here? The 50. So the 38.50 is a retested resistance at this point. So yeah, that would be the short trade at that point. So we'll just keep lifting this up, and we'll when we're looking at this here, we'll look at the Teslas and the Nvidias and all the rest of them, and the banks, and because the banks are going through a little fourth wave rally at the moment, you know, that's what they're doing to the upside. So yeah, that's that really. So I'll leave that at that. Nothing to do. We're just going to monitor the situation, and once we've got 5 waves up here, then we'll look for the first impulse wave down, and then we'll buy the kickback on that. Short the kickback on that. This is the Nasdaq here. This is just happens to be a bullish count, this particular chart. So up for 1, back for 2, up for 1, back for 2. Now, if this was correct, then I would want to see a nice 5 waves up here, and then would have an ABC back. And then would go up again at that point, and would be going long from that point. But in the meantime, we know that the Nasdaq is the strongest market out there, and we know that from just some of the stocks we looked at just then, with Tesla and Meta, and we didn't look at Meta then, but you can have a look at the stock video. We know that the markets are being pulled up by the tech stocks. Okay, so it's going to be a bit difficult to realize a bearish pattern in this situation. So yeah, but this is the bullish pattern. You know, this is very much like Apple. You know, if we look at Apple, it looks like a very bullish pattern for Apple as well. I won't go into that. You can have a look at the video for that. So, but. Yeah, but no but. So let's just go to the daily chart here, because I think I've got the bearish pattern starting at that point. So this would be the bearish pattern here for this, if this was going to be the case. Now all we're going to do in terms of you know, shorting this is really just, you know, we can short under here, for example. But all we're going to do is just keep, at the right time, to get our timing right, is just keep lifting this up until we get clicked in at this point. And we're not going to go long until it turns over on the other side, as I just mentioned. We need a nice clean impulse wave up here. And then we need to be able to count 5 waves up here. Then we need to be able to get the ABC back, because then that way, if that's triggered at that point, we know where to put the stop or lift the stop, because if in the meantime the stop would be further down here, and if that's triggered, then we can move it to there. We need to manage our initial risk and then our general exposure as we continue to reduce that risk, and at the same time also look at adding to positions to the upside. So does this look bearish? No. But we'll just we'll play the game, and it'll all come out in the wash. All we need, the answer to the problem is patience and timing. So that's what we'll be doing. On the bearish side, we'll just continue into that for the moment. So on the 50k chart we're looking at here. So coming back into this trend line here, which is also the 61.8%, so just around the 12.5 area here, 5 being the second strongest number in the market. Like I said, it does leave us these lows here that we can short, but you know, as I just mentioned from looking at Tesla, we've got move up, we've got movement up here. You know, they obviously what's happening with the banking sector, it's a bit difficult for the Feds. We'll see what the ECB do tonight anyway, in terms of raising their situation, but they might need to do a U-turn. Everybody may need to do a U-turn. Will they, won't they? Buggered if I know, mate. But anyway, all we're looking for is we weren't going to make any decisions this week because we knew that the markets were going to be volatile. There's CPI, there was banks crashing, there's PPI, there's the ECB with their rates and so on. So there's a lot going on. We don't need to do anything. We just need for the markets to work themselves into a corner, and we'll be waiting when they come out, whichever the way that is, you know. We need to put our trading hat on and not our analyst hat, because the analyst comes with opinions, and that's going to get you, as you know, more opinions opinions you have, the more trouble you're going to get into. So but anyway, let's just go into the 1000 ticks here now to shorten all of this up and check on this. So let's just get in a bit more data. So the move to the upside here, remember that Tesla's got its wave B here, and the same with Apple, and a few other markets are slightly different. Now, I could count this differently. I've just got it here as 1 and 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, an A and a B and a C. Here for the fourth, and then up for the fifth for the A and the B and the C. I know this can be counted differently, so it really doesn't matter at this point. We know that we need to be looking at 5 waves to the upside here. They're going to take us higher up into, when we're looking at 12,000 here, we can look at group 1, which is 1, 2, and 3. So the next job here at 300. Obviously it's the end of the session. 300, then 500. The Fibonacci is the price ratio. Also brings in the psychology of everything as well. Anyway, close enough. And then the 8 here. So we know that this area here is going to be the 61.8% mark. So if it goes past that, that's kind of interesting at that point too then, isn't it? So we'll just allow it. But you could be long at the moment, all we're doing here is lifting the short thing up until, because they're uncertain times at the moment, but yeah, the market is doing what it's doing at the moment, and what it thinks is the Feds won't do anything about it, about lifting rates and so on. So it's all looking pretty chirpy, but we want to, once that opinion is in the market, then we'll see, and that opinion should be in around this point at this stage. Okay, I don't need to go and rabbit on any more about that. We've got the Russell here. So we had talked about shorting it here yesterday. You'll need to get out of that at the moment. And like I said, this makes a nice 5 waves down in this move here. So that's all of that. We don't need that. So the 3, 4, 5 here. So very much like the banking sector, I've sort of done this. So this will be like the banking sector here. We'll get some sort of little wave 4 here. We may only just get a wave, maybe that week that we'll just look at this as wave 1 down here, so we could look at this, we can look at this in a different way, as wave 1 down here and a wave 2 coming back up into this 50-60%. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll look for the short trade, but at the moment, the current short trade that we're in, we want to be out of that. So we'll either come to here or to here on this. So we'll just see, but we'll see how that travels. If we get a nice little ABC there, we'll get a nice little setup in that as well. So that means that we'll get 5 waves up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get some sort of ABC back here, and then that will just leave us with that low to go short on, and we'll try to improve on that. We don't have to worry about it today as much. But anyway, if you see that, that's where we are with that at the moment. Wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. That all played out nicely. Everything's pretty rosy at this point. So let's just see what we get. Either to here or come back to here as the way forward. As like I said, this is what the banks are doing at the moment, and the Russell's kind of in the same. It's in that softer boat with those guys. And then we've got the DJ here as well. So we're looking at this as 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. These sorts of things as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, they don't normally sort of play out that much, but you kind of will keep an eye on it. I mean, at this point here, I must say that I could probably get a low in here, by looking at this as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 in here and jamming it in here for a low now that we got this in here. We got this low here, so I could certainly put wave 4 here and wave 5 in here, and we've got a low in place, and that's the low for the Dow. But I don't want to go there yet. There's no need to stress. I'm not going to stress out on this at the moment. So all I'm going to do here is we'll just wait for this. This will be some sort of because you have to distinguish. I like to sort of like look at all the markets and then sort of gel all their, all their moves together. And if they're in fear, they tend to all gel together. But that the general audience of the trading world is split, isn't it, about what the Feds will do and what they won't. They're all, if you watch a bit of news, they're all sort of split. So we're seeing that within certain sectors as well. So everything it's every man, woman and child for himself at the moment in the markets. That's the way I see it with all these stocks. So we need to treat them like that as well. So this could be a situation like this here. So an A wave, an A, B, C for the B wave. Or I could just put the A wave here too. That looks all right as an A and a B and a C. It doesn't really matter. You're still going to end up with your B wave here and the C wave up here. We'll see how this travels. This will be 5 waves up here. And even once it gets up here, right, and gives us 5 waves, then it's going to give us 5 waves to the downside. If the other markets around the place, the Teslas and the Meta platforms and the Nvidias have all done their business and they've topped out, well, then we can look for the short trade under here. But we'll get that timing. I need to bring, even though that each market, like Nvidia's making new highs in the market, So even though they're all doing different things on an intraday basis, they'll all be doing much the same thing unless they've got some individual news coming out and scaring them more than they should, like Credit Suisse at the moment, he's putting on a brave face, but not looking good. Yeah, we'll see that down under $1 for sure, I'm sure. Anyway, that's that. That's the lot. So we'll leave it at that. Like I said yesterday, there's nothing to do with, we don't need to do anything at the moment. What we're looking for is a trend to come out of all of this, and we're aware of what we need to do on the short side. We're aware of what we need to do on the long side, and the stocks are really telling me what's going on here. And I can see the pull between the banking sector and the tech sector. But at the same time, they're doing all the same intraday moves. So yeah, we shouldn't have too much problem. So even if you don't trade stocks, then it's probably a good idea to keep an eye on some of those big tech stocks and pick up the count from our videos. Alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.